So the first thing I would like to talk about, unfortunately, I'm not going to show it because I don't want Rockstar coming after us.
Right.
But it's the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. Are they calling a remake or what is the technical term? Because it's not like a complete remake; they're just upgrading it.
Yeah, I would say it's funny. I actually had a conversation about this a couple of days ago about a remake versus a remaster,
Yeah.
and a remake usually entails more than just a graphical change, but more of just like hardware changes. A lot of just advanced settings that are changed within the remake of the game. And then for a remaster, it's more of just graphical changes and then just some cleanup, some in-house cleanup for like the modern day.
Uh-huh.
So I
So
feel like, yeah, with the new trilogy, like I feel like it's more like a remaster than a remake.
Okay, and like whereas the Knights of the Old Republic's going to be a remake.
Right.
That'll be a big conversation for later.
Oh, I'm ready for that one.
Completely
one of the greatest
different
games ever made in the last 10 years. So that will warrant its own.
That was the game. Okay, that was the game that made me fall in love with storytelling in video games. The story for Knights of the Old Republic just nailed me, and I was like, oh, now I'm stuck. I'm hooked on video games.
Right.
But so the Grand Theft Auto thing, this is a remaster. They're just updating graphics, and so I played the crap out of Grand Theft Auto 3.
Okay.
I played the holy crap out of Vice City. Like I spent so much time in Vice City. And then I played a lot of San Andreas, and then I met a girl and quit playing video games for a few months and then just never went back. So I've spent a lot of time in these games, and I loved all of them back then. And I'm watching this trailer, and I'm seeing what they're doing, and like it looks a little bit better. It's kind of more. It's actually more cartoony to me. But I don't think I care.
The games were a little cartoony. That was just the nature of the graphics that they had at the time.
Yeah,
so,
the PlayStation 2, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't go the way of bringing it up into, GTA 5. But they left some of the cartooniness of it, which with Vice City, it's understandable. It was pretty garish.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd say the same for the other two. But I have no interest in buying this. It's like I played those games. I enjoyed the hell out of them. It's over. Like, let's move on.
Right.
What do you guys think?
So when I saw it's actually funny. I didn't even know they were making a trilogy remake until like last week. Saw the trailer for it on YouTube, and I was all like, oh wow, this is happening. Like Rockstar is actually doing this, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think this is like the first time they've actually done any sort of remaster or remake for the old games, right?
Yes.
Actually, I believe they did some graphical updates when they released Red Dead Redemption 1 on the Xbox system.
Okay.
But it wasn't major, and they didn't title it a remake or a remaster. It was just, I think it was just some graphical
just a graphical update. Okay. Yeah, and to your point, Chris, how you're saying, with how the graphics look, it's still more on the side of the cartoony, and I think that's definitely an aesthetic choice they stuck with, just based off just the time of it was, especially with Vice City, right? Like I feel if that was more in the realms of GTA 5 graphics, it would look off-putting,
Yeah, you're probably not wrong, but I would. If they did a remake of Vice City, I'd probably be a hell of a lot more interested.
Definitely, and that's one of the key things I think that I was expecting as far as seeing a new definitive edition is not just a remaster, but like a remake, right? Like seeing Vice City upgraded to GTA 5 settings and controls and just the quality of life. Having that integrated with Vice City, I think would just enhance the wanting to go back and play those games over, versus like, oh, we splashed some new graphics on it, and just did some little minor quality of life changes, but for the most part it's still Vice City that you played, 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that would be awesome because it felt like you were freaking Scarface playing that game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Speaking of Scarface, had you guys ever played the Scarface game?
No, I never played that one.
Well, sadly, it's really hard to play now because it's just there's like no computer alive right now that can play it correctly without it just crashing complete. Like there's so many bugs on the PC side of it. It's ridiculous.
What if you had like a PlayStation 2 emulator?
Probably. I did recently tried it on my Xbox 360 and it didn't age very well, so I got immediately bored.
Would you say it was kind of more like maybe in the same vein as a Mafia game?
Yes, I would say it was in the same realm. You definitely felt like Scarface. You definitely felt, you upgraded your house, you were selling drugs, you were just this, money laundering, the whole 9 yards. It was a really, really fun experience, but definitely like a early stage Mafia game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing it and was thinking, this kind of looks like Mafia. And then it was Scarface, and I was like, fine with it. I just never got it. So are you interested in purchasing the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, Avery?
I am somewhat interested only because I played the crap out of San Andreas. I'm more interested for San Andreas. That's kind of just ingrained into my childhood as playing it as a kid, especially when my mom didn't know exactly what she was getting into when she bought that game for me. And during the times whether if they were cussing or if I was going in the back alley and picking up a hooker so I can get one off real quick and then get out the car to go kill her. Yeah, I had to kind of mute it.
That's right. I always forget. You're a good bit younger than I am because I was like a senior in high school playing Vice City. Like,
wow.
I won't go into what age I was when this came out.
Yeah, because I think, let me see, when did San Andreas come out? Like 2004?
I was like 21.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like 21, maybe 22 when it came out.
Yeah, I was like 14.
No, I was at the bar. Like,
okay, that's awesome.
What about you?
I just turned 30 when San Andreas came out.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Are you going to pick it up, Steven? Do you think you would have any if you were to get this? Would you think you could fit it into your video game time that you have?
Well, define video game time. I have no problem finding time to go buy video games, as my video game shelf will tell you.
So I understand your
actual video game time playing.
Yes, your limited time because you can only play so much. Would you actually? Would this be something you turn on?
Honestly, I will probably pick it up. I don't know that I'll pick it up at launch at full price.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
But, down the road, maybe 3 months down the road, if the price drops a little bit, I'll add it on. I've got some websites where they help you search for deals on games and stuff. I imagine during Black Friday that weekend, it'll drop in price. You pick it up. If I can pick it up for $40, yeah. Because there's some nostalgia there. Like you said, you guys remember playing it as kids. I remember, we'd all go over to a friend's house and we'd play Vice City or San Andreas. And I played quite a bit of it. But honestly, I didn't have a PlayStation 2. At the time, I was an Xbox person. So I didn't play any of these games, really. I think I played Vice City more than any of them. Growing up in the 80s, it's funny. You say San Andreas because it came out, portraying the 90s when you guys were kids. Well, for me, Vice City was the 80s. That was when I was a kid. So,
Okay. So pretty much, seeing that the bright neon aesthetics and the bright shirts and floral patterns, that was like, oh, I'm living this.
Well, I grew up in the 80s, but I didn't grow up in the 80s in Miami. So
Miami, yeah.
There's a little bit of difference. I was in Phoenix at the time.
In Cocaine Land? You didn't grow up in Cocaine Land?
No, I did not. Well, yeah, no.